Hi, I'm Jerry Payne, your confidential ghostwriter and author of Writing Memoir, the practical guide to writing and publishing the story of your life. You know, people often ask me, what's the number one thing I can do to write a great memoir? Or more generally, what's the best thing that I can do to become a better writer, period? I'm always inclined to say, just sit down and write. Just sit down and write. Practice your craft. But truthfully, I have a better suggestion. Just read. To write great literature, read great literature. For memoir in particular, read great memoirs. I truly believe that's the best thing you can do to become a better writer and to ultimately write your own great memoir. Of course, there are a lot of other things too, putting together a compelling narrative arc, writing compelling characters. But if I had to pick one thing that's made me a better writer, it's been the books that I've read, particularly the great memoirs. Great writing is contagious. Here then are some of my favorite memoirs that I would recommend, in no particular order. The Liars Club by Mary Karr. This particular book, published in 1995, started a wave of confessional memoirs, but I don't think there's been one as good since. This Boy's Life by Tobias Wolf, 1989. Wolf writes about his boyhood. It was Wolf who actually recommended to Karr that she write about her own childhood. I'm glad he did. And I'm glad he wrote this. Darkness Visible, William Styron, 1990. Proof that a memoir doesn't have to be a long recounting of a person's entire life. 87 pages. We're talking about memoir, not autobiography. This is about something very specific, namely Styron's struggle with suicidal depression. The Year of Magical Thinking, Joan Didion, 2005. Another example of a very specific part of a person's life. This is about Didion's grief in the year following her husband's sudden death. A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway. Hemingway is my favorite writer. And this memoir recounts his time in Paris in the 1920s. If you like the Woody Allen film Midnight in Paris, you'll love this book. Girl Interrupted, Susanna Kaysen. Another relatively short book like Styron's, and again about mental illness. Wild, Cheryl Strayed, 2012. Huge bestseller, and deservedly so. Some all-time classic favorites. Goodbye to All That by Robert Graves, about his time in the trenches in World War I. The Crack Up, F. Scott Fitzgerald, more actually a series of essays. Richard Wright, Black Boy. Speak Memory, Vladimir Nabokov. Read these and see if something doesn't rub off on you. I'd be interested in knowing what your favorite memoirs are, so feel free to leave a comment below. I'm Jerry Payne, and you can learn more about me at yourconfidentialghostwriter.com, or follow me here on YouTube, where I'll be dishing out helpful advice and practical tips from the field of writing. Thanks for joining me.